Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, respected Sri Chandrababu Naidu Garu, Union Minister for Civil Aviation, respected Sri Ashok Gajapati Rajagaru, respected Sri Chandrajit Banerjee, DG CII, Your Excellencies, delegates from overseas, gracious ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a great privilege to be in your midst this evening at this August gathering. A fantastic evening and a great evening beckons Andhra Pradesh. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the government of Andhra Pradesh under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister Sri Chandrababu Naidu for this wonderful get-up and success of this whole thing. While, ladies and gentlemen, you have had discussions on very major issues over the last 2 days at a macro level, exchange of thoughts have been about international cooperation, bilateral cooperation, regional cooperation, etc., and the various things that affect sustainability goals, etc. I, as the first citizen of the state, have a very narrow interest and a very narrow focus, and therefore I shall deviate a little bit from those very intellectual discussions that you have had over the last 48 hours to some very mundane issues which I feel are important because it gives me credit of having been the governor of this wonderful state to achieve these objectives. And therefore I shall dwell on certain very simple subjects and will not go into the very complicated intellectual discussions that you ladies and gentlemen are used to. We are, as you are all aware, laying the foundation of a vibrant, happy new Andhra Pradesh. The Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, in his relentless effort, is leading this victory run. We are looking at good governance from a different prism altogether. We are looking at governance from what I would recall the happiness index of people. Normally governance is judged by various indices like GDP, economic growth, etc., etc. But I, for one, would like to gauge it from the happiness index of the people, because ultimately your success of your governance lies in the happiness of the people. How happy are people with you? Otherwise, the statistics are one aspect of governance. But I think the major aspect is to see how much you have really reached the people's heart and how much the people have started enjoying the benefits of your various measures. So we are looking at the happiness quotient as a very important factor in this whole exercise. Health security, educational attainments, food security, energy adequacy, clear and green environment are some of the issues that we need to address on a very urgent basis. Actually, these, I think, should be given priority if the happiness of the people is taken as a quotient. Technology, we are looking more as a gallop factor, a multiply factor, an add-on factor, which will help us in all these issues. The state is endowed, as you're aware, with a coastline dotting the entire length of the state, which is a very unique thing, and that gives us great asset in terms of transportation facilities. We have large untapped natural resources, water in abundance, power, and the most important thing, human resource. We have an excellent human resource capital available with us, a youthful population which is available for us, and of course, a determined administration. Communication, of course, is very important if we are to ultimately reach the technology, reach the fruits of governance to the people. Therefore, communication technology also becomes very important, that is telecommunication, because in this world, we cannot allow the rural areas to remain completely shut off from the urban areas, because this communication is one way of bridging the rural-urban divide. I think the rural-urban divide can be bridged in two ways. One is communication. The other is really trying to see how much of the urban facilities we could really transfer to the rural areas, so the rural areas do not feel neglected. Because the problem is, if rural areas are neglected, there is a migration of population from the rural areas to the urban areas, and when they come to the urban areas, they do find a certain mismatch, and this will lead to frustration. So our effort is to really concentrate more on the rural areas also, so we're able to bridge the rural-urban divide, which means the success of all these particular things which I mentioned earlier on will have to be translated on the ground and reach the people, vast population, particularly in the rural areas. We aim at resolving also issues, technology. When I said technology, what is the effect of, how do we use technology? When you're looking at development, you look particularly economic development, industrial development, there is certainly going to be a certain diminution in land. It is inevitable. I mean, these are two very contradictory factors. On the one side, we look at development, on the other side, we are looking at diminution of land. One may ask, while land diminution goes on because of industrial expansion, on the same time, we have the number of mouths to be fed is increasing by the day. So the question is, how do we ensure food security? How do we use technology to sort of bring in adequate agricultural output to feed an increasing population with diminishing lands, with an unpredictable nature? Sometimes there might be rainfall, sometimes there might be floods, sometimes there must be a drought. So this is going to be a challenge in terms of technology as to how exactly do we ensure food security, which I think is a very important aspect of happiness of the people. The other aspect that we would like to look at is energy. Well, at the moment, we are very good in the power sector, but the thermal and hydel power is something which is not going to last forever. We need to look at technologies which will promote non-conventional powers. Solar power, wind power, and this sort of non-conventional power is what we need to look at. Because the sun god, luckily, is very kind to us. So we should try and see how much we can tap the solar factor and the wind factor to enhance our power utility. Because thermal energy and hydel energy are one part of it. And thermal energy, unfortunately, carries in its train a certain amount of pollution element also. So that contradicts our effort to maintain a green environment, a clean environment. So I think a focus of use of technology for alternate source of energy is something which we need to look at. Health security. When I talk in terms of health security, unless you have a healthy nation, a healthy citizenry, we are not going to move forward. And a healthy citizenry means affordable health care and quality health care. Both these are necessary. It's not only quality, but it should also be affordable. Unless we are, so we need to sort of see how we could bring in technologies which will lower the cost of health care, which will make it affordable for the common man. This, I think, is one thing which is extremely important. Education. Knowledge is power, as we are all aware of it. And this knowledge is only going to come by spreading the education to all levels. I think from the smallest to the highest, from the lowest to the top, I think we need to make quality education. And the quality education should be such that the skills should be inbuilt into the education system in such a way that they match the requirements on the ground. Several times, unfortunately, what happens is the knowledge that you gain does not match the skills that are required on the ground jobs. So our effort is to sort of promote knowledge education or education and acquisition of knowledge in such a way that the person, after acquiring the education, is employable, has acquired the necessary skills to be employed, which means his education becomes more meaningful. Andhra Pradesh, as you're all aware, has received the certificate, the best certification in the ease of doing business, as per a World Bank study made recently. Because ultimately, when we request people to come in to invest, the first question that is going to be raised is, how easy is it to do business with two people? Are there going to be cumbersome procedures? Is there going to be a large red tape? We have ensured that business doing will be the easiest thing to do. It will almost be a walk-in, walk-out business. That is the type of ease of business that we are trying to promote in the state. And the state has already been richly rewarded for this effort, in that it has been ranked the #1 state in the ease of doing business. The balance of economic prosperity, social equity, and inclusiveness is what we are looking for as a call of the hour. This is what we are trying to promote. The state offers you, ladies and gentlemen, opportunities vast in nature and in areas hitherto untapped. We are determined to get the state on to the global arena in the shortest possible time. Well, it is going to mean a lot of effort, the most efficient and achievable time frame. This is an age of partnership, collaboration, and shaking hands. We all have one common objective, a joint responsibility to the human race, the happiness of the human race. Our last critical factor for any development, I know one of the questions that will be posed by you, ladies and gentlemen, is how secure is the environment? Because we must understand that security and development have to go on a parallel track. One cannot be at the other's cost. And I, as the first citizen of this state, assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that Andhra Pradesh is absolutely safe for any investment. It is an exceedingly safe investment. I stand guarantee for you, and I say this with absolute confidence as the first citizen of the state. I do not know if Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is going to agree with me or not. He may disagree even if he wants, but I stand by my commitment that Andhra Pradesh is an extremely safe destination for any this thing. And as I told you, the environment security is very necessary. Ultimately, we need to have a clean environment, minus pollution. So the effect is to sort of promote greenery, a green environment, and that is what we are also looking at. Ultimately, we are all looking at your blessings for a great tomorrow and for the coming generations. Because I think what the EX generation leaves to the Alphabet X generation is very critical. And that is where I think you and I have a role. It is not that we are living for today. What we are doing today is sort of really ensuring that the future generations of our mankind, of the human race, remain happy. I do remember that yesterday, probably at the start of the discussions, one of the statements made, or probably ideas generated from the podium was, "We are ready, are you?" Today, I can hear the echo of this, a two-way communication. We sent in a signal yesterday to this great August audience, "We are ready, are you?" And today, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu Garu, I can hear the resonance of this saying, now the audience is saying, "We are ready, are you?" I think this is the success of the summit. This is where the success of the summit lies. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the only shortcoming that we have in this whole system is our Chief Minister. Because we have a Chief Minister who talks of 25/8. We normally talk of 24/7, and this man talks of 25/8. So that is where we are trying to bridge this mismatch. I can assure we are trying our best to bridge this mismatch. Probably we have now gone to 24/2 into 7.5, but very soon I think we will go into 25/8. I can assure you, Mr. Chief Minister. I think your officers, your colleagues, your ministerial colleagues, your wonderful colleagues in the cabinet, your wonderful group of bureaucracy, and soon, I think I only hope they will not go further and make it 26/9, but stop at 25/8, because that pace will be a little too deep. And I can say, whatever, we are always there for you, we stand by you, and I can hear Mr. Chandrababu Naidu quietly murmuring, saying the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have no time to sleep. That is what he says. But I do hope, sir, you will get some very good sleep starting tonight. Hopefully you will conclude your MOUs very soon, and we'll be able to have a good night's rest, and thereafter look for a bright, sunny morrow. The bright Andhra Pradesh, the golden Andhra Pradesh is on the anvil, and we shall make it together. Thank you very much for giving me this privilege.